Joining me now is Jillian Michaels, celebrity fitness trainer. She lost her home back in 2018 in that California wildfire, I remember that, and recently evacuated her mom from that Palisades fire. Jillian, this is so heartbreaking to watch, and I'm so angry about what the people there are going through. Will this horrific tragedy spur a political reawakening?
I certainly hope so. And the reality is that we have to make this about negligence and corruption, because the truth of the matter is, the more we dig in on right and left, whether it is or whether it isn't, the more people who find themselves on the left are refusing to see what's right in front of their face. So I think the key here is to focus on everything that was done wrong, what needs to happen next, and asking yourself if the people currently in power are capable of facilitating that. And to me, the answer is overwhelmingly no.
Well, Jillian, we saw what happened in Hawaii and those fires. That ended up being a significant depopulation of what once was, again, like this, an idyllic landscape. People just picked up and left, went to other islands, went back to the mainland. And I mean, look, people without trust in government start to spin theories, and some of them conspiracy theories, thinking they want these neighborhoods gone. They want to rezone. They want towers. They want to turn this into, you know, something that looks more like Boca Raton. I like Boca Raton or Tyson's Corner, Virginia, than it did the Palisades. That's a real concern.
Oh, without question. And disaster capitalism is a real thing. And finding somebody who can thread this needle is not going to be easy, which brings us back to the question of whether or not someone like Gavin Newsom has his intentions in the right place, let alone the capability to do this. What I would like to see as a former resident of California is giving people who've lost everything some tax relief, maybe a state buyback at a fair market price, disaster relief grants, penalizing monster corporations who go in and try to pick the carcasses clean of vulnerable individuals. But listen, I'm the farthest thing from an expert here, but it is going to take an expert to protect the California citizens.
Well, I think the California citizens are going to have to start protecting themselves here, and by being really smart with whom they choose, because they keep going down this same path. This will keep happening. After all, these politicians, Jillian, said there was nothing they could do. Well, if that's the case, why would anyone want to live there? There's nothing we can do. Okay. Well,
do I get an opportunity to go crazy on that one?
Yeah.
This isn't even funny. I laugh because otherwise I would scream. Apparently, there's new news that one of the fires was potentially started by faulty, dated equipment from a privately owned utility company, Southern California Edison. Now, when have we seen this before? I don't know, 2018 and the fire where my home was burned to the ground? Forget it. There are so many things that we could do. We could demand. I mean, the list is so long. Fund the fire department. Listen, that's a whole nother.
This is incompetence.
That's a whole nother show.
Jillian, we could do an hour on this in a live show, and I hope I get to get out there to do that soon. And we really appreciate your perspective. You love that state, even if you don't live there now, and you know so many people who suffer so much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.